just to have a basic look at your functions from Junior Cert. Can you remember things like what is a function, how to graph a function, what any of the functions that you would have graphed look like? So firstly, what is a function? So let's say you've got 2x plus 1. It's kind of like a machine. You have an input. It doesn't matter what the input is unless they tell you in the question. You get an output. So let's say the input is 1. That's 2 times 1 plus 1 is 3. Input, output. And you keep doing that for whatever they tell you. They might tell you up as far as 5. Input, output. So 2 times 2 plus 1 is 5, 2 times 2, 7, 9, 11. And then you want to treat this as the x and the y, the input and the output. You might also have heard words like domain, and this is your range, your actual outputs. There's another term that we probably at some point need to talk about as well in functions, which is your codomain, which I'll explain at another stage. This is just a basic looking back over your Junior Cert functions. So you have your input, your output, your group of inputs is called your domain, and your group of actual outputs is called your range. Well, anyway, you take your input and your output, 1, 3, and you would graph it. You take your input, your output, 2, 5, and you'd graph it, and so on. Calculator will do this for you too. So if you hit mode, table, f of x in this situation is 2x plus 1. Do you want to start with the number 1? Okay. Do you want to end with the number 5? Grand. Do you want to go up in whole numbers? That's what that means. So if I wanted to go up in 0.5s, which I didn't in this situation, I went up in whole numbers, but you could go up, just press in 0.5, and then it will tell you input 1, output 3, input 1.5, output 4, input 2, output 5, and so on. It'll go up in 1.5 inputs for you. So that's just so that you remember how to use the calculator. And when you have all your inputs and outputs, you again would be graphing it. So just to get you to graph a few, so would you graph, let's go for 2x plus 3, and graph minus 2x plus 1, and maybe graph 3x and I don't know, graph minus x plus 3. See if you notice anything. So you're gonna use your calculator or whatever you want in order to get your input and your output. Oh yeah, your input and your output go from maybe minus 3 up to 3 for all of those. So that's your domain, your list of inputs. And then you might do some x squared ones. So when you have those ones done in the same domain, you can do in the same domain. And again, same domain. When you've graphed all those, we'll have a look at it. The only thing that you need to know about a function, about what it is that if you have an input, you have an output. This input here, when you put it in, you don't have two outputs. You'll never get two answers when you put in the number 1 into your function. Same down here. No matter which function you pick, it's only considered a function if you put in a number and that one number gives you an output, not many outputs or more than one output. It just has to give you an output.